Okay, what was that? There was a lot of crazy stuff happening there, and I don't know what any of it was. What? That went by, like, that was, like, so much stuff really quickly. It was a lot to process.
Yeah, I love Mikasa's resolve, just as her as a character and as her, I don't know, like, I love Mikasa so much, and, like, her determination when it comes to Eren. She had a great line saying, we'll get to it, I'm sure, but about how, caring about the ones that she loves was solidified 6 years ago, which would make sense going by if this year's 844 was when Mikasa's backstory happened that we saw. Mm-hmm. So that would tie in really well. That was amazing.
And she has no room in her heart to care about anyone else.
Yeah, these flowers
that they keep showing.
They've shown them so many times that they have to mean something. They have to have something. I
guess it could
deeper.
Just be that whole like imagery of that like life can come from nothing, or even like a hope kind of thing, or like it to me it almost makes me think that outside the walls is life. You know, life that they've never experienced. That's what the flowers always seem to be like to me.
Goes with Ymir saying outside the walls isn't as bad as you think, right?
Yeah. And she talked about the Titans as if you just kind of need to get to know them or something.
She had the line that was like, everybody has one or two things about them, you know?
A fault.
Everyone at least has one or two faults, yeah.
She's not wrong.
So during the whole conversation between Ymir and Historia, her like confession, the reason I snatched you away was to save myself, like I realized through all this, like I was just trying to save myself. If I'm honest, I could not buy it. Like, it might just be me not receiving it 100% correctly.
I was confused on whether to buy it or not.
Yeah.
Because it didn't... Part of me was like, oh, well, that could totally be true. But then why I wasn't sure is because I couldn't figure out what her purpose for lying in this instance would be.
Well, maybe to make Historia okay with coming with them. Like, it was interesting because I wasn't going to say anything about it and just take it as fact until Connie brought it up again at the end of the episode. Mm-hmm. But,
well, because Krista wouldn't have... Krista's whole thing is she wants to die.
Yeah.
She wants to die with purpose. She wants to die honorably. It seems like she doesn't really care what happens to her life. And so it would not have worked if Ymir made the importance about Historia.
Correct.
So I think when we say it like that, it was definitely a lie on Ymir's part of knowing that Krista wants to protect Ymir. So if Ymir says that Krista coming with them will protect Ymir, then Krista will come with them.
I am with you. Like,
okay.
That was my train of thought. Within this speech, I don't know if it's the truth or not. I just have trouble believing it is. There was definitely what I believe to be some truths. One of them being a long time ago, I stole the power of the Titans from one of their comrades.
I wrote that down and I was... Is that what the injection is? Is that what she's calling it? But she didn't steal it. It was given to her. So, like, that doesn't make sense.
That doesn't make sense. One of their comrades. I take that comrade as Marcel. I think... sorry, there's a really loud thunder and lightning going on right now.
Whoa.
But, I take it as they turned her into a Titan with that injection, threw her off of the wall, and then her eating Marcel. There was something special about Marcel that gave her the power to turn back into a human.
Back and forth.
Yeah,
okay.
to turn back and forth.
Gave her her humanity back, or her sanity even. She did have that awakening scene last episode. It felt like she was... her human body, herself, had returned to her.
It's a weird phrasing, though, because it said I stole the power of the Titans from one of their comrades. But, like, how I initially took it was, like, the power to turn back and forth. I could be wrong there, of course, but...
I'm just gonna operate with that.
Yeah.
For right now, because that feels good. So I'm just gonna go with that.
There's also the knowledge of Krista apparently knowing the secrets of the walls because she's someone important in the church. Which
Krista does not deny.
Yes.
In this setting.
But I just didn't know that prior.
She's trying to make it believable that's why she would want Historia. And she tells Historia to save her.
I think it was just part of her
to
plan.
Push it home to really
I think so, but I could be wrong. I don't know. It was just a vibe or a feeling that I got. Great imagery though. It does make you feel like of the beauty that is outside of the walls.
I liked that Ymir broke it was like different. There was like green smoke behind her. Mm-hmm. It's because she and she was all like wet, I guess. 'Cause she ripped herself out just to have this conversation.
And then back in.
So, because we have heard Ymir in Titan form talk, but I guess that wouldn't either. She came out because it wouldn't have been as convincing if she was saying it in her Titan form, or it was more like she can only say limited amount of words in her Titan form. Either one of those, not really sure.
Hey, if they were implying that Ymir had that power because of eating Marcel, then that definitely gives us the impression that Marcel was going to be a fourth member on that group.
I think when that happened, they were outside the walls getting ready for some of their missions. Mm-hmm. Why else would all of them be camping by themselves in the middle of nowhere? And,
I mean, it was 5 years ago, I believe. Could be wrong. I believe it was 5 years ago that Ymir ate Marcel. And 5 years ago was the same year that the Colossal Titan broke through the walls.
Mm-hmm. So they could have been right outside the walls getting ready for this mission. I
wonder if that's when Annie implanted herself within the society.
Yeah, I was wondering why we hadn't seen female Titan during that day. That infamous day.
Maybe it was part of the plan. I don't know. So we had Mikasa kind of be cracked a little bit and playing peekaboo.
It was such a creepy shot with her peeking
so
through to look at Berthold.
I love it. I absolutely love Mikasa. Mikasa's lines coming up. There's only so many lives that I actually care about. My enemies made deciding that easy 6 years ago.
Which I love how she phrases it like that.
It's such a good line. That's such a good line.
She's saying she doesn't even get to choose anymore whether she can care about anyone or not. She doesn't even have autonomy over her own heart anymore because of these enemies. And that's crazy amount of power and evil to give to them and control over her life.
Yeah.
And how she is now.
And then she said, so you're mistaken to seek any compassion from me. That's it. She's such a cool character, bro. She's so cool.
I don't relate to her, but I still think she's cool.
Yeah, because right now I'm all out of time and room in my heart to care.
Which, when you just said that, it sounded really cringy, but it didn't sound cringy when she said it.
I know. But...
and I love... Okay, so now, right after she says that, we're all, chilling on Reiner's neck, having, little get-together of all of the friends, minus those that have died. Rest in peace. I loved that they all... It's they tried this first. I know they didn't, talk about tactics beforehand.
I got the exact same impression.
But it's really cute. It shows that they all... Obviously, Mikasa's there just to get Eren, but everyone else, Jean, Armin, Sasha, Connie, I think they're all there hoping that
it's some misunderstanding.
It'll go. Their words will get through. They'll figure out the truth. They see these people as friends of theirs, and they're just confused. And was it all a lie? It was very emotionally charged.
It was just they were all trying different ways to appeal to him. To me, but. And then we got a little bit of backstory. Apparently, Berthold sleeps in odd positions that are a true art form. Which that apparently they all started trying to guess if that could predict weather patterns. Love it.
And then Jean gets really serious right after he says that, and he was like, but you were able to sleep like that, having done what you did.
John is such a good character, dude.
Oh my gosh.
He's such a good character.
Jean's a fave.
I almost felt like, oh no, Mikasa, your like truth bomb is going to like interrupt the appeal that they are trying to make to him, but it definitely didn't, because like it did not interrupt it in the slightest, because Bertholdt came through with the line, who the hell would want to kill people by their choice? I don't know where you and I mentioned it, Anna. I don't know if it was in last episode's discussion or one of the many conversations we have about the show in the car or anywhere else, but we were sitting there and talking, and I was like, in their own right, more than anyone, there is a possibility that Bertholdt and Reiner are victims themselves.
Yeah.
Because that, like, we don't know we don't know anything. And
we've seen them as children too, and can children really make decisions like that?
And many, many, many episodes ago, we said that the show didn't seem like it was just black and white. And this is just another example of it to me, because they were children, right? From what we understand and the flashback we saw, they were children. Let's look at it from a different perspective of, you are following the rules and the leadership of another party, and all you know is what they believe. And if that's what you grew up with, their truth is your truth. Just that's how society works, you know? Mm-hmm. That's the history that you're taught. But when you as a child are put out into the battlefield and told that you have to do this thing, then you in your own right you have a side of your story that is at least worth listening to, because you could be a victim in your own right in this sense. Like by their own choice. Who'd want to kill people? Like, it's
their fear and their self-loathing
mm-hmm.
is so evident in both of them. I was really happy for this line from Bertholdt, because we saw that Reiner had an inability to process what he had done, to the point that he split and he kept flipping back and forth, and he couldn't be consistently one way or the other. And we saw that it was really hitting him like a mental break. And Bertholdt was the one that was true and calm to some extent. He wasn't breaking. He wasn't showing remorse. He wasn't saying anything. Even on the trees, when Reiner was saying all the things, like, Bertholdt just kind of watched. And we finally saw, and I remember being confused by that. I was like, because Bertholdt only showed some form of sadness when he watched Reiner break in front of Ymir and Eren, and that's when Ymir questioned him on it. But then when we saw that flashback of all of them supposedly watching Marco die, we saw him crying, and I was like, where is this emotion for Bertholdt? How does he actually feel? Because I feel like I can understand Reiner feels really messed up about what he's done. I mean, Reiner even, like, basically says the same thing himself, like, 2 episodes ago. And I was so happy to, like, have this kind of emotional flow from Bertholdt.
I have a lot of sadness saying that Bertholdt is a very good warrior.
Unfortunately.
Because that's what it feels like. The lines, but we just couldn't come to terms with our sins. The only time we had some respite was when we pretended to be soldiers. Like that, like, it's rough, because there were moments in this show this episode that it's like, you feel weird about who to root for,
mm-hmm.
about rooting against these people, because it's hard for me. It's hard to openly root against these people, because the way that the story's written is you feel for them. You really do. They make you feel for them.
If you think about it, you did say Bertholdt was the one who's the true warrior right now, but in my mind, especially out of the 2 of them, Bertholdt's the one that's actually this whole time been living with what he's done. He pretended to be a soldier, but in some way he might even be envious of Reiner being able to compartmentalize it and separate from it fully play, because it got to the point where Reiner was fully playing a soldier, believed he was one. But for Berthold never forgot the reality of what he had done.
You're right. And it's like he is living in the most hell because at least Reiner has that alter personality to like that he's like created within himself to deal with this emotion, right?
And he can feel like he can truly be friends with these people because he doesn't feel like he's the one that's wronged them.
I feel so bad because I have felt a lot of emotions in this show, and one that's developing more than anything right now is true is fear. I can gauge moments I've been scared in this show, like just like Titans, 4 characters, whatever. But the thought, there were episodes ago that I was like, yeah, Berthold kicked in this wall to land on Aaron's house on purpose, and that might very well be the case. But if there's any line of thinking to imply that that was Berthold's malicious doing, that is completely wrong. The fear that I have in this show right now is the thought of power that someone or an organization or society could have over these two people to put them through this direct living hell, and they have no say about it. They have no, they literally cannot say no in their own minds.
And it's safe to say that when they did do it, they didn't even truly understand what they were doing.
Exactly.
So then after they realized what they did.
Part of me is like, is it like a Suicide Squad thing? Do they have bombs in their necks? Why can't they? Is there a further reason that they can't deviate from a certain plan? Because in some stories, you might use this opportunity to write, okay, you're right. I will turn sides and fight with you. We don't know what's going to happen. But, is there some even more prevalent force, dictating and make sure they stay on this path?
Doesn't he say something, at the very end of that conversation with everyone around the neck, someone come get me or something?
Yes.
He said something at the very end that was really...
Someone find us.
Someone find us.
Neither of us have any right...
But what does someone find us mean?
If I'm honest, I could not buy it. If I'm honest, I could not buy it. I could not buy it.
I could not buy it.